So our breakdown is going to be, we're going to start looking at the results of match week 6. After we look at the results of match week 6, we're also going to look at the best players in match week 6, and also we're going to give you our captain picks for Gameweek 7. Despite giving you our captains for Gameweek 7, I'm also going to look at players you should look at, or players you must get in your team going to Gameweek 7, and we're going to finish it by covering the Gameweek 7 fixtures. So today's episode, we don't have like a guest. It's just me telling you ideas or advice. So stay locked in, be with us as we go through episode 7 together. So starting with matches that took place in Gameweek 6. Gameweek 6 was like really interesting. Our first match was Brentford versus Man United, and Brentford won this game 3-1. This game week we saw who's this Igor Thiago scoring his first 2 Premier League goals, and then we also had Hansen who scored a goal, and at my United side the striker scored their first game goal, I think. So looking into this fixture, I think people can start keeping an eye for Igor Thiago, because the guy seems he's on fire. Yeah, and other Brentford assets you can get that I saw that are really performing good. You can get Shah, you can get Hansen. So those are just like a few players you guys can look at if you want to like get some assets from Brentford. Now going into the Chelsea and Brighton game, well, this game was disappointing because Chelsea got another red card. Chelsea was leading 1-0 by halftime, but then after halftime, Brighton came back with 3 goals. 2 goals scored by Danny Welbeck, and the last goal scored by Decipher. And for Chelsea, Enzo Fernandez scored. Well, this fixture just clearly tells us that Chelsea's performance has been inconsistent, because they drew the first match, they won some matches, and now they've lost 2 back-to-back Premier League matches. But fantasy, we don't care about how the teams are performing. What we care about is how the players are performing. And one player we can look at that is performing well at Chelsea is Enzo Fernandez. He's been giving those points back to back, and if we look at his price, I think he's a nice player to get. Now looking at Brighton, Welbeck scored 2 goals. Welbeck hasn't been on his best since the beginning of the Premier League, but then I think from this Chelsea game we can see that he has something to offer, because he scored 2 goals, and yeah, I mean if you had him in your striking that weekend, then he got nice points, because he also got like the bonus points. So that's the Chelsea and Brighton game. Chelsea lost 2-1. Now Crystal Palace versus Liverpool. Crystal Palace also won 2-1. This game was really a tight match. First half, it was all on Crystal Palace side, and second half I think Liverpool came back in the game. So this game ended 2-1. Palace won, and the scorers were Sarr and Nketiah. Sarr has been on fire, so I think Sarr is an asset you can look at from Crystal Palace. Beside the attacking option, you can also go for Mark Gay, because Mark Gay has been performing good. So these 2 guys, I think you should keep an eye on them. Whilst on Liverpool right now has so many stars, has Mohamed Salah, has Isak, has Ekitike, and it's really a hard option to pick. I mean, to have all of these guys on the team. But then looking at Liverpool's performances, I think one asset that you guys should really get is Hugo Kitike. Besides that, Federico Chiesa has been that man who scored like those late goals. So I think Chiesa too, adding him on the bench might be a good option. So moving on to the next match, Leeds United and Bournemouth 2-2. Bournemouth is playing good, we all know that, and one man who is carrying Bournemouth is Semenyo. So Semenyo, I keep on saying this week in and week out, he's a must-have. For Leeds is having different squads, so I don't think you guys should get any assets from Leeds right now. But then if you are looking to capitalize on that, you can get Longstaff or Rodon, because these are the scorers of Leeds in Gameweek 6 against Bournemouth. Move on to the next match, Man City versus Burnley. So many guys keep on asking, should we continue keeping Salah, captaining Salah? For me personally, I think this season Salah is not a must-have. Firstly, if you look at his price is just so crazy, 40 million, and with the number of returns he's given us so far, I think it's not worth it buying Salah for that amount, because you can get Haaland instead and use Haaland as your captain. That's just some advice. I won't go so far in that. So Man City won 5-1 versus Burnley, and those goals were scored by Matheus Nunes, Haaland 2 goals, and the other goal was an own goal. Whilst on Burnley, Anthony scored. Before I touch on Man City, I just want to touch on Burnley. I've been seeing this Anthony name for a couple of times, so I think you guys can go on and get Anthony from Brighton. I think he's a striker. What's going into Man City, you guys should have Haaland. Everyone should have Haaland. If you want to win FPL Gameweek, if you want to win your mini league or week in and week out, have good points, you need to get Haaland. But also Matheus Nunes is also a good option from Man City, because he's been given assists. Yeah, he gave I think 2 assists in this game. So look into these players. Moving on to the next match, we had Sunderland versus Nottingham Forest. Sunderland is still continuing with those nice performances, and Sunderland won 1-0 away, and Alderweireld, another defender, scored for Sunderland. So if you look at Sunderland, they have like nice defenders who score goals, who score nice points. We have Ballard, and we have this Omar Alderweireld guy, because he's kept a clean sheet and he scored. So that's 6 points, plus another 6 points, which is 12. Defensive contributions, 2, which is 14. Bonus points, which is 16. Guys, look at these points, guys. Easy points. So yeah, Sunderland defenders, you can get them. Going to the next match, we had Tottenham Hotspur versus Wolves. Ended 1-1. Palhinha scored and Bruno scored for Wolves. Aston Villa finally won the first match against Fulham. They won 3-1. Watkins finally broke the dark of this season. He scored. And the other guys who scored are Buendia and McGinn. For Fulham, Jimenez scored. We can go to the second match, Newcastle versus Arsenal. Newcastle had the whole of this game, and Watermaid, the new striker, scored. Watermaid is a nice option too. You guys can get this guy. He has the ability to score headers, he's really a good striker. But then Newcastle United lost 2-1 to Arsenal. Goals scored by Merino and Gabriel Magalhaes. Just to touch on Gabriel is a good defender that you guys can get, because he scores headers and he keeps clean sheets. Just at this match, he didn't keep a clean sheet, but you can see his steward brought points, and he's one of the guys that saved me, because damn bro, he gave me 13 points. So yeah, Gabriel is a guy to get from Arsenal. But then despite that, Arsenal has nice assets this time around. So guys, I don't know. It's really hard. It's like picking an asset from Liverpool too. It's really hard. Okay, so the last game was Everton versus West Ham. Everton drew 1-1, and the score of Everton's game was key. Was the score for West Ham was Jared Bowen. Yeah, and I think Jared Bowen was the man of that match. Alright, so those were the matches going into those are the results going into Gameweek 6. Now, looking at the best performing players, in Gameweek 6 going into Gameweek 7, my first player will be Igor Thiago, the striker for Brentford. He had 2 returns, he had 2 goals, and that's a nice return. And he was like the best player of the match, man of the match, so he got bonus points. So I feel like this guy can be like, let me say, one of those backup strikers. You can get Haaland, João Pedro, and Igor Thiago, or Haaland, Gyökeres, Igor Thiago. It's up to you, but then he looks like a good replacement. For Manchester United, I think he can start getting Sesko, because I think now he's going to be starting matches week in and week out. Also, we can look at who's this. Daniel Welbeck. Daniel Welbeck got 2 returns. I think he's now breaking the duck of not scoring this season. So I feel like Daniel Welbeck and Igor Thiago are in the same situation, so I won't touch much. We can go to the Crystal Palace game. These guys haven't lost any match. So next game, I'm looking at next game for Crystal Palace. I think you guys can get Crystal Palace assets. On their assets, I'm talking about maybe Mark Gay, I'm talking about Pep Matsa, I'm talking about Mateta, because guys, this team is on fire. And Crystal Palace next match, they go against Everton away, so it's really going to be a hard match, but then get at least Papsa or Mateta. Going into the other player that performed well, Erling Haaland has been top notch. So we shouldn't discuss much, but then just to be straightforward, Erling Haaland, guys, is an asset that you guys must have. I'm giving you this advice. You guys must have Erling Haaland. If you don't have Erling Haaland, guys, I don't know what you're doing. Replace Haaland for Salah. So these are the players that really performed well for me in Gameweek 6. And just like put an icing on that cake, I think who's this? Semenyo too. Semenyo is one guy that people must have in fantasy Premier League, because Semenyo is going to he's going to be bringing us those points week in, week out. Okay, so who are we going to captain in Gameweek 7? Who are we going to captain in Gameweek 7? Going into Gameweek 7, I think we should captain. Gameweek 7 is going to be a tricky one, but I think Haaland has a nice fixture against Brentford, so you can captain Haaland. To those guys who have Haaland, to those guys who have Mohamed Salah, you can also use him as your captain, because Salah usually scores against Chelsea, so there are high chances that he's going to score in this match, and knowing that Liverpool has gone back-to-back losses, so I think you can captain Mohamed Salah. On the other hand, you can captain Bukayo Saka, or any other assets of Arsenal, Bukayo Saka, Eze, or Victor Gyökeres, because they're going against West Ham, a side that's been shaky. I don't know now that they've got a new coach, maybe the performance is going to improve, but I really feel like you guys can captain someone from Arsenal. So that's on the captain picks. Some differentials that I think I can suggest to you guys. Some differentials that I can suggest to you guys. First of all, Anthony for Burnley. He's been scoring in away games, and I know Aston Villa haven't yet started keeping clean sheets. So I think that's one guy you guys can capitalize on a differential. That's Anthony for Burnley. For Crystal Palace, another differential is Kamada. I think he's a winger for Crystal Palace. I think a Japanese guy, but guys, this guy hasn't scored yet. He's only made 2 assists. But I have a feeling that this game week or any other game week to come, he's going to cook. So he's a must-have, guys. You need to keep this guy. Another differential you can get is Harvey Barnes from Newcastle United. Despite Harvey Barnes, you can also get Elanga. Elanga hasn't yet got his boots kicking, but then I think soon he's going to start scoring and assisting for the Watermaid guy. I feel like they just have to blend in first. Yeah. Another differential that we can look at going into Gameweek 7 is a Fulham guy. We can look at Iwobi, for Bournemouth. You can also look at Clivert. You can look at Evan Nilsson, the striker, because I feel like he's going to score in this game and he's a differential too. So those are the captain picks, those are the differentials, and those are the results of game week of match week 6. Now going into match week 7 games. The first game is going to be Bournemouth and Fulham. I feel like this game is really a tight match because Fulham has just lost a match and Bournemouth drew the last match. So I feel like Fulham will want to lose this match. So this match I'm giving it a 2-2 draw, but Bournemouth can also turn things around and making it 2-1. We have Leeds versus Tottenham Hotspur. Leeds is home, Spurs is away. I think this game is going to be really a tight game, but then I think Tottenham Hotspur will get that narrow lead or maybe a draw. We have Arsenal versus West Ham United. Arsenal is home. This is a straight win for Arsenal, 3-0 or 3-1. I think they'll win this game easily. We have Manchester United versus Sunderland. This game is also a tricky game because Sunderland has been good away, and we all know Manchester United's form this season. So I feel like Sunderland can get a narrow 2-1 win, or Manu can hold it to a draw, or maybe likely also get a win. But then for my prediction, I'll give this game 3-2 to Sunderland. We have Chelsea versus Liverpool, a really tight match this weekend. Chelsea, 3 red cards in the last matches. Liverpool coming from back-to-back losses, so I think Liverpool want to bounce back, being the defending champions, and Chelsea also want to bounce back too due to their bad performances. But then we know that Chelsea has lost some key players like Palmer is out, Andre Santos is out, Liam Delap is out, Levico is out. So this game, it's really hard to give it to Chelsea, me being a Chelsea fan. I think this game is going to end in a draw, a 1-1 draw, or maybe a narrow lead, a narrow win for Liverpool, being maybe 2-1 or 3-2, Liverpool winning that game. The other fixtures on Sunday are Aston Villa versus Burnley. I feel like this game Burnley can get away with it with a 2-0 lead, a 2-0 win. We have Everton versus Crystal Palace, a really tight match. These teams are underdogs, but then I think Crystal Palace is the biggest underdog here, so we can give it to Crystal Palace with a narrow lead of maybe 2-1 or 1-0. And then we have Newcastle United versus Nottingham Forest. Looking at Forest's performances, I think Newcastle will win this game. Maybe 1-0, 2-0 or 3-1, with Chris Wood scoring for Nottingham Forest. And then we have Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Brighton and Hove Albion. I feel like this game is going to be a straight win for Brighton. I'm giving this game Brighton 4, Wolves 1. And then we have Manchester City versus Brentford, the last game on Sunday. In this game, I think Man City is going to win because Man City is playing really good, guys. And Haaland is on fire, guys. Phil Foden getting his boots back, he's showing his boots back. So I feel like this game is going to be a win for Manchester City versus Brentford. So guys, that was it. That was it for episode 7 of Fpl Yathu. what was actually supposed to happen was supposed to call guys and hear their views on which team they think is going to win, but then due to different technicals like electricity, we really didn't have electricity during the day until like I think around 9, so it was hard to like reach everyone because it's by that time it was night time, so it was really hard to reach everyone. But then that was analysis by your host Zweti Nizande. I think with the things that I've shared, you guys will be able to pick a few things that can help you going into Gameweek 7. And just to share this, we have a new program that's running. This program is a program whereby people make predictions of a big game in the coming match week. So this match week 7 will have a big game, that's Chelsea and Liverpool. So I moved around my hood 25 asking friends on which team they think is going to win. So the one who gets the correct prediction by the end of this weekend, will walk away with 8,000 kwacha. Yeah, because of making a good prediction. But if no one makes that prediction, then no one walks out with that money. We'll see who will get that money in the next game week when we are receiving predictions of the big game in that game week, which will be game week 8. You with me, your boy, Zweti Nizande, and see you on our next Fpl Yathu episode. Thank you.